Welcome to Meet the Trainers. Today with me I have Christina Torres, who is our technical instructor and a data leader. How are you doing today, Christina?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely fabulous today, Rich. What about you?
I'm doing great. I cannot complain. And today we're going to get to learn more about you. And you share us your experiences and what you dive into. But let's start right at the top here. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey that you have had with Cognixia so far?
Absolutely. So I started back in 2022, where I joined the jump training program in our data cohort. And I was actually in class with fellow instructor Jameson, and it was a class Charles Dunn was leading, but I digress. Um, there was a TA position that opened up on the team. There was actually two, of course. And through my projects and hopefully my go getter attitude, I was able to demonstrate I was a great fit for the position.
I would say so. What a class, huh? You and Jameson and led by Charles Dunn. I would pay money to sit in that class. So, after with your experience and your go-getter attitude, you've really found a home in certain technologies. Can you tell us where you found that you seem to specialize in?
Yes, so primarily I definitely specialize in Python, but I have been working on gaining a deeper understanding on data engineering and analysis. So that's going to be all the connecting libraries for Python, like Seaborn for visualizations, PySpark for ETL operations, a little bit of databasing too, because you can't get rid of that, and of course, a little bit of AWS for deployment, but all circulating in the data field.
Okay, cool. And with all that experience, you actually now lead the data practice. Is that correct? And if so, can you tell us what does a data practice consist of?
Yes, so I am leading and supporting the data practice right now. It's going to be a collection of various different learning materials like short form videos for digestible information and focused explanations. It's going to be e-learning and extended articles. Those are going to be focusing on teaching like in-depth materials like Python fundamentals and those coding based libraries. We'll also be putting out stuff like review materials in forms like flyers, posters, and really I try to make content that is easy to digest, and that could mean short explanations with good visualizations to clarify what I'm trying to get at, or in-depth paragraphs where I weave together explanations with examples.
That's excellent. So you're getting not only the full data classes that Christina creates and facilitates, but all of this supplemental material that helps get you to the next stage, or frankly, maybe even focus on areas that you find you need to improve in. And you're guided by Christina Torres throughout that whole entire thing. So super excited. I can't wait for that to be released. I think you're just adding and adding more content day in, day out. So speaking of that, though, you don't only focus on data. You almost do it all here. What does your day to day look like?
Lately, I've been actually focusing on building content for both the data practice and assisting in the generative AI content. So, mainly because, Python and AI and machine learning are so tied together, and Python is one of the best libraries for working on any AI machine learning project. But as of late, I do spend maybe about 3 hours in the morning reviewing materials to help me clarify definitions and just get a good understanding on some of these topics. So, for example, last week I got into a bit of a deep dive on a ArcSiv paper on a multi-agent system for a smart warehouse. And mainly I was diving into that so that way I could get a better understanding on the current limitations of like multi-agent systems, understand if there's anything actually fully autonomous, and understand the difference between the underlying model of like a AI agent in robots versus an AI agent that would be like more systemic, like a monitoring system for the warehouse. And that research can be pretty dense, so it does take me quite some time to create my own explanations and examples and images to clarify some of these complex topics. But once I have my research figured out and ironed out, then I spend the next half of the day writing out my explanations, outlining exactly what's going to be the best way to convey this information, and a little bit of working alongside ChatGPT to make sure that like I do have a well-written article or a well-created picture that covers comprehensibility for a wide range of learners and also is just organized nicely because you need that third-party perspective sometimes.
There are many outstanding traits that you share and exhibit day in, day out, but your continuous learning mindset is always something I'm excited to help almost push myself to try to match that. But any type of material that is given your way, I know that in a day or two, you're going to know better than anybody. And it's because of that drive and that curious mindset, I would say, that you have. And is that something that you also expect from maybe even students in your class?
I definitely do expect students to want to know more information. I try to make the information I'm conveying interesting and digestible so that way it gets the students' brains kind of turning and churning on like, okay, how would I implement this or how would this work in this situation? Really get them to question the technology that we're working with. And that is a very important concept because I think it really helps you solidify these new ideas in your mind.
I would agree. I would agree. Let's wrap up with a fun question. So we talked about the technology. Yes, that's going to be a fun area as well. But I know you also have a large amount of hobbies. What's your current hobby that you're diving into right now?
So, with the weather getting warmer, I am really obsessed with gardening. So, it's a great excuse to go outside and get sunlight. And if you plant a bunch of fruit trees, which I've got like my raspberry bush coming in for the year, you can make a bunch of fruit jellies or other like preservable items. And it's just a huge money saver too.
That sounds like a win-win. I'm looking forward to it. And if you want to bring any vegetables in or whatever when you visit the office, I'll be there.
Oh,
Christina, it is always great spending some time with you and seeing how much you put into this program and yourself. And I know any student would be ecstatic to have you in the class as the facilitator. So thank you for your time with us today.
thank you very much.